Welcome to Office 365 training for IT professionals. This long video is going to be for IT support professionals who are brand new to IT and they just got a job and now they're actually working on Office 365 in the company. So in this video, we are going to do some of the basics on users modules, group modules, share mailboxes. Now, if you would like to go more beyond this, of course, that is going to be just Office 365 skills, getting more deeper, then of course I recommend you take our course, which is we are updating it now again. It's going to be in the description, but this one video can really get you ready. If you're brand new and you just got a job or you're going for interviews, you can actually take this course, practice on your own trial version, add some users, play around with share mailboxes, groups, go to the documentation, and I can guarantee you this is going to give you that start, not only start, but practically you will be somewhere. So this is definitely something that I recommend people to go over before interviews, or if you just got a job and you think that they're going to be using Office 365, which a lot of companies are, I highly recommend you do that. In this, we're going to cover mainly about how to set up a user, then going more into contacts, guest users, practice, some tips, and Azure, how do we do things, and it's going to go beyond that. And after this, because this is a part of playlist, go to the second video, which is a PowerShell method, and you're going to learn one from the portal, which is more what you're going to be doing. And then if you're going a little bit more advanced than this, of course, then you have a PowerShell. And then if you want to learn more in Office 365 on your own, then keep following the documentation from Office 365, which is a great resource. We use the same documentation to create our own course, but we're going to go into more support level skills after this. We're going to go more deeper, and we'll probably eventually end up into more an Office 365 engineering course later on if you're still following us. So if you like this video, let us know, and of course don't forget to comment, subscribe, and good luck with this video. Welcome to module users. In this, we're going to talk about active users. This is the most important part of this portal because of the active user feature. Now imagine how many times you will get a call from HR managers that we have just hired this new person, please add their account into Office 365, or you have a vendor just starting, let's say tomorrow, on some project and you need to give them access very soon. Then you need to know how to work in this area, or you're going to be getting calls for troubleshooting, like I forgot my password, or you may be getting called that this person left the company, please disable their access. So many different calls can be created from this one place. So first, let's go over the features. As you can see, on the first one is add a user. This is a simple way by clicking on add, and then you will type the username and all that kind of stuff. We're gonna come back to this right after when we finish the first features. So we're gonna close this. Then you have this another ability to add users is through user templates. Now, if you remember from your Active Directory course, if you have taken that course, there was ability for you to right click, copy, and then basically you can use the same information to make it easy for yourself. But here you can click on user templates, and then you can create a template by clicking here and then filling out this information, which I already did. By clicking on support, you see that it's just going to give me all the information ahead of the time. So you see right there, a description is already given there. Password will be auto created, domain is going to be this, and some of the information like licenses, so that I don't have to do this again. So I can even add more by going to and adding my own template. So I basically can type things over here. Let's go ahead and type sample again, and then click next right here. And you see from here I can choose my domains if I have multiple domains in Microsoft Office. Let me create one for this person, and then you can see you have ability to pick and choose templates. Now, why this will be important, because let's say for example you have one sort of settings for your employees that works with you, and maybe you have another settings for vendors, and you do not want to give them certain access, like let's say email, or you don't want to give them specific rights to the team or something like that. Then you can make your job easy. Now another important one is this one, add multiple users. Now you are going to usually in your real life you're not going to need this type of import multiple users. This was designed mainly for the migration. So a lot of people are moving towards Office 365. So imagine if users were using Exchange and they had, let's say, 300 mailboxes or 300 users, and they needed to be migrated to Office 365. So there's a lot of different ways that administrators can do this, but if it was a manual job and you have to put all 300 people in here from the portal, then they made it really, really easy. By downloading this sample, all you have to do is to download it and change the emails in there. So let's go ahead and download it and just show you what's in this sample. So once you open it, you can see they give you this sample right here. So all you have to do is to change these emails to your domain, change the names, the first name and last name. You have to do this information to make it easy for yourself, and then in one shot you can upload all of that to this system. And then what will happen after that, you're going to click sure, next. You're going to give licenses and everything, and you see that I have added it right here. It's just going to add up all of this. All of these users are going to add up with their licenses, so it saves you a lot of your time. Then after that, you have a multi-factor authentication. Now this is a little advanced feature. This is going to take you to the Azure feature. So a lot of the time, this is going to be more of level 2 or sysadmin job where they're going to enable this feature. And then of course you need to do a little bit more than that. You have to see there's an auto deployment guide, authentication guide. There's a learn more about licenses and stuff like that. So what this is basically, when you turn it on for a user, then they must use a phone, and a phone will get an application, and when they try to log into Office 365, they have to actually authenticate through that phone. So that's a multi-factor authentication right there. Refresh button, because it's a browser, you need to, when you add something and you don't see it, then you just refresh it here, or you can refresh the whole browser. You can also export the users. If you want to export all this data, you can export it to CSV file. And then after that, they have a little bit more options, like right here, like a reset password, delete a user, directory synchronization. This is with a basically, if you have a hybrid type of environment where you have an internal server and you're running Office 365 and you have an Active Directory inside your company, then of course that's where you're going to need some kind of synchronization, which we're going to talk about later on when we get to the end of this course, where what else are going to be required for you. So that's where you're going to learn that stuff. And then you see there's a simple search. If I search Ben, then if I click enter, then it will just remove the other stuff and just give me that search for Ben. So I'm going to remove that. And the filter part is just, you can filter a lot of different things. You can search it by licensed users. You can do sign in allowed, blocked. So this is a very good feature, because sometimes this place can get really, really big. And then maybe sometimes you want to come back and say, okay, you know what, how many users are unlicensed users? So if I click here, you see I can quickly find out that these are the people that are unlicensed. So then I can take care of these people, because either they need to be deleted, either they need to be converted into mailboxes or something like that, which I'm going to show you in the future and the rest of this stuff. But that's where you need to use the filter. You can also compact the filter right here, and if you want to go back to clear all filters, you just remove the clear all filter, and now you see it's right there. Now the main reason you're going to need this is going to be adding a user. So let's first look into adding a user. So by clicking on adding a user, this is exactly like how you did in Active Directory, but here is the simple process. So let's go ahead and add some users over here. So we're going to say Stacy, KHAN, and we are going to basically use this name. Now remember the naming policy, if you remember from our training from Help Desk and Active Directory, this comes from your managers and your senior level staff policy. The namings are done by them. So maybe this say in this case we're going to use SKHAN, and then you will have two reasons to create a password. One is the auto generate password, one is let me create the password. Auto generate is going to be kind of a little bit lengthy password, and then of course once you generate this password, you may give it to the user, they will type it in, and then you want to also require this user to change their password then the first login. So this is very important, because if you don't do this, users usually don't change their password. So this is a security feature, and I'm sure your company will tell you to do this. Send password in email upon completion is something that in a company usually they don't do it, because they want to give that temporary password in front of them, and they want to basically show them. In the beginning, you have to sit with the user, open this up for them, or somebody who is doing a training with them for the company applications, I'm sure this is something that they will be taking care of. But if you don't have a trainer inside the company, then you will be sitting with a user and you will be doing this part. So I'm just going to give it a generic password and I'm going to click next. So the next step over here is basically assigning the license. This is very important because you have licenses based on what type of model you're using in Office 365. As you can see, we're using Office 365 Business Premium. There are so many different type of levels, P1, P2, P3. There's a lot of different types. There are Microsoft customized plans and so many. And like I said, this is not going to be you. When you come over here, you're just going to see whoever made that decision for you. You're going to see the name over here. In this case, we want to give this user a license because this is a licensed user. If we're not going to give that, then we're not going to be able to assign some of the features in this Office 365. Now on the bottom you see applications. This is where a company will be making a decision. Do you want to use let's say for example Planner as a whole company? Because if a company let everything checked right here, so people are going to go and start making their own projects in different type of applications, and this will be a mess for a company. So they may define some rules for the users, and they will tell you that ahead of the time that we require this or that, and they will let you know which applications are approved, which applications are not approved. So in this case, we're going to say everything is approved, and we're just going to click next. Now remember, Exchange is the one that if I uncheck this user cannot access the Outlook. You should come and try it out. You should create some usernames, uncheck some of the applications, log in as the users, and then see how it works. So here is another very important feature. This is where the roles. So if this is not an administrator, of course you're not going to give any access over here. But if this is a help desk, some of the SharePoint administrator, remember in Office 365 we are not the only people who works on Office 365. There's going to be systems administrator, there's going to be SharePoint administrators. So a lot of people basically use this as a full product for many different type of features, because there's going to be an administrator that's just going to be doing Teams stuff. So they're going to be sending invites and all that kind of stuff, training people on the team. They're going to be a system administrator on a SharePoint stuff. Now this is where it's a little confusing part, where you have a service support admin create service request for Azure, Microsoft 365, monitor service health. There's very limited access, and then basically if something happens, they create a request for people. Now the help desk admin, which usually if a company is doing more of a tier type of support and they have some type of access level limitations, then they may give you this level where you can come and reset the password, authentication, non-admins, some admin roles, manage service requests, and monitor service health. You see, this is why our training is designed for help desk, because if we're teaching you a lot more than just help desk over here. So if you are just hired as a help desk, then this is only the things that you're going to be seeing in the user support group, email, some of the basic stuff. You're going to only have access because of this feature right here, right? But we're going to give you global admin, meaning we're going to give you full admin rights to everything. This has unlimited access to everything, because most of the companies probably will give you this access. Well, the reason for that is that you are going to be going around to very different type of applications to resolve issues. So again, if they have a lot of different type of support, then they may limit it. If they have only few people in this company, then you will have global admin rights. So the rest of the stuff is just basic, like job title, job information. So if I say job profile, job department, I can just say, this is the IT department. You can put mobile number, and this is the stuff that will be provided by your HR. And then once you have this information, you see you have some kind of summary. And then of course after that you finish, and then there you go. So you can copy this information, give it to the user when they join the company. You will probably go there and show it to them. You can even use this account as a template, so you don't have to do this process again. And I'm just gonna close this, and now we added Stacy. So you see Stacy is right here. We're gonna search Stacy. The first time you should do is a refresh. So as you can see right now, Stacy Khan is right here, not this top one right here. This is a different type of thing going on right now. We're talking about this right here. Stacy Khan is added, and she basically than is in this system right now. At this point, we're just doing a process work right now. We're not doing troubleshooting. We're going to do troubleshooting every module. After that, we're going to do troubleshooting and work on it. What else is required for this? So right now, when we added Stacy, you see this is just information right here. The next phase is that you need to be working on this to actually troubleshoot and get into these features. So in next video, we're going to talk about what can be done in these features right here. Why would you need this, and how is it going to help you with troubleshooting issues in IT with Office 365, and once you add a user over here. In the last video, you have learned the process, which is a normal job ticket that you may just get it on a regular basis, that add this user or add that vendor. But what happens when you add that user and with time you start getting calls? Now this is where you need to learn about the ticket real world skills inside this feature. Basically, let's take Stacy Khan again. Now to do this, make sure you open a new browser. Like I have another Firefox open. I'm using a Firefox developer and Firefox. You can use any other browser like IE, Edge, or Chrome, and open that, and then basically go to portal.office.com. Type scon.dmvclient.onmicrosoft.com. I'm sure you're going to be using your own setup. So go ahead and do that, and go ahead give the password like this. So we're adding her, basically logging as her for the first time. So when you log in as her the first time, you see this little pop-up will come up. This is something that, remember, you were gonna go and basically tell them that this is what it is. Most likely they're just going to click cancel on this, and just like I mentioned before, as you can see now, if you look at this information, SCON also have admin rights. So that's not good, because we have given her some rights that she shouldn't be getting. So let's go ahead and fix that. So this could be the first call that you have given her a wrong right. So how do you fix that? Just by going to this the account, and on Office 365 you have different type of ways to get into accounts. You can click on these three dots, and then this will open this features right here. As you can see, added username, manage product license, delete user, or you can click on top right here and you will see this pop up right here. Now this is where most of your real world skills started, because this is where you can be getting calls like, I got locked out, block this user, delete this user, change my photo. They may have the ability to do that as well, but you may be asked to do it. Or they may say the license, add another license, change the license, take the license off, add an application, remove the application. OneDrive could be added here, some mail stuff. We're going to come back to all of this stuff later on with these features, and you can see there's so many different things that you can do. One of the calls you can get is probably manage the groups or the role. This is what we were coming here, right? We wanted to fix that issue, that why did she have the admin rights? If you look at the accounts and look at the roles, she's what? She's a global admin. So first, let's go ahead and change that, and we're going to say no and save changes. And now we have removed the global rights from here. Now if I go back to the Firefox, let's go back again and refresh. You can just simply refresh the browser. Now you see it's not going away right away, because we still have to wait for it to work this. So let's say if I click on admin, can I get to the admin feature? Yes, she can so far. So we're gonna go ahead and log her out, sign her out. And sometimes when you refresh this after some time, this should also go away. So let's go ahead and do that. Portal.office.com, scon again, and we're gonna put the password. I'm gonna say no. She's still an admin. Now why is this happening that she's still an admin? So let's go ahead and let's go back again. We have removed her access from here. Then of course we need to come back here and refresh a little bit. Just refresh this just to make sure your whole portal is refreshed. scon again, we're gonna click here, make sure that she doesn't have any roles, manage roles. She doesn't have any roles, we confirm that. And now if we go back again, I'm gonna close this box, by the way. And sometimes this could get a little tricky when you have two browsers open. There you go. So it does take some time. It does take some refreshes for you to do. The reason for that is that this is a browser based system. Remember, this is a cloud based system, so when you do a change, it goes back to a server, and then the browsers are kind of like, you know, cookies and cache and all that kind of stuff. You need to really refresh it, and then things will start working. Similarly, when this account gets blocked or something like that happens, then of course that does have a little delay on when you are doing these things, but it will take care of the issue. So right now you see we have removed her access from the admin side. She's no longer an admin. She can only access what we have given her. So if I go back in here, some of the calls are going to be like, I want to change my title. Can you guys change my title? So you're going to have to come over here and then click on manage contact information. And this is where you see the department, job profile. And if you go down, all that stuff is right here. Name, job profile, office, fax, numbers, all that stuff is right here. Let's click on it again. What else can we see? The username and email, manage email aliases. If you have another email systems that are going on, then you need to add that alias in here. And you can see you have Office, view Office activations. If you have downloaded the Office on her local desktop, you're going to see the activations here, which we will show you later on. And now when we go to devices, you can also see the devices that she's enrolled in. If she has a mobile devices, she would be using this, which is a little advanced feature. We're not going to touch that. And again, we went to this application area. So what else can you get a call for her? You may be getting a call that I forgot my password. Can you reset my password? This is going to be a common IT call, right? You're going to get a call from her that, hey, I forgot my password. Can you guys help me? So you can come over here, click on the little key icon. You can generate one, or you can create a new one, temporary one, and you can just give it to them, and then they will log in. And the first time they log in, they're going to have to change it. You can click on this right here too, and then you see you have some more information like assign it to the group, added a username, manage email, or on the top you can come here and click on reset password, and also that will take care of that. Another feature that they have is this block this user. So if I click on it, you see what will happen. It's going to tell you blocking someone prevents anyone from signing in as this user, and it's a good idea when you think their password or username may have been compromised. So this could be somebody calling you that I clicked on a very bad email, and now you're worried that this may messed up, this may do something to our network. So then you may want to go for this feature. When you block someone, it immediately stops any new sign-ins for that account, and if they have signed in, they will automatically sign up from Office 365 within 60 minutes. 60 minutes is a pretty long time. It doesn't take that long, by the way, but we can test it. So let's go ahead and block this user. You see save changing right now, so this user is getting blocked. And we know that we were logged in right here. So if you come back over here, you see they still have access to Office 365. So right now Stacy account has been blocked. They will automatically sign up from all Office 365 services within 60 minutes. Like I said, it doesn't take that long, but of course, if Microsoft is saying 60 minutes, then it may take that long, but we don't have a correct answer for this. But most of the time when we see 60 minutes from Microsoft, it doesn't take that long. Usually after 1 minute or 5 minutes, things started to get kicked in. So I waited for almost 5 minutes, and you can see your account has been locked. Contact your support to unlock this. So if you go back to your portal, then you will see the account information right on top is sign in is blocked right there. So this would be a situation for you once you fix the issue, once you realize that everything is good and you are given green light to unblock this user, then you can simply click on unblock, and then of course after that you're just gonna click save, and now this user says unblocked right there. But it may see right here, it says it may take up to 15 minutes to be able to sign back in again. So there's a little delay each time you do this kind of stuff. Just keep in mind that that's going to be the case right there. So if I try to log in right now to see if I want to do portal.office.com immediately, then we can see if things are good. Let's put the password. Yeah, it's still locked out right now. But then after 15 minutes, of course, this will get resolved and we're good to go. So that's it for the user section. We're going to move into our next section after this. Make sure to use your hands-on access. Come over here, try to play around with all these things, try to reset a password. Sometimes you just have to do things to remember more. So I do recommend you just come over here, reset a password, log in as that password, try to understand how much time does it take. You may need to do some refreshes, because that's another thing, understanding about browsers and stuff like that, how that works, because in reality that 15 minutes, 10 minutes is going to be the real thing for you. So make sure you do this practice on your own. So let's move into contacts. In our module users, we are going to continue with our contacts section in Office 365. So let's go ahead and click on it and see what we can do in this. As you can see, there's a retired person, Danish. I'm retired now, so I put myself in here. Now, why would you use contacts in the company? Think about it. Most of the people in the company, sometimes they will have people that will retire. Some may have some important people that you want to keep in the contact section so everybody can reach out to them. So when you add a person over here, people can reach to these content from the web Outlook, anything that is going to grab people section, let's say calendar or something like that. Any other feature in Office 365 is going to see this information. Now, only administrator can actually add these contacts. So make sure you know this, because sometimes people will request a little bit more. Okay, what can we do with contacts? Can you add this information about contacts? So you need to know as an administrator what options are available for you. So if I was to add, let's say, Stacy and KHAN, and this is the display name that when you click on it, that will show to everybody else. So this, you can see contacts are usually created for users outside of your organization. Email needs to be unique in your organization. So this is where it says right here, like say SKHAN should be like, let's say job skill shares are unique to this platform, because this is not a job skill share owned, this is different Office 365. And then maybe you want to put company, if they have a company, phone number, mobile number, and you see that there are more information about, okay, there was a title information, website, what kind of information. So there's a lot that you can keep a track of a person if you think that that person is important to your company. So here it says hide from organizational address list, on or off. So if you do this, this means if the people are going to go to the Outlook and they're trying to look for Stacy and they have multiple Stacys, this is not going to show up if you turn it on. If you turn it off, then it will show up everywhere else. You can see right here, organization address list. Anywhere that is going to grab an organization list for the users, whatever they have contacts, is going to show up. So all you have to do is to add over here, and then this contact will be created. And then of course you can see add another contact, added details for this contact, get started with contact in Outlook, and there's some more options that you can play around with. If you want to click on details, then it's just going to open the same details for this, and you can delete the contact from here. By going back to that section again, you just click on it and you see it opens up. You can go to the settings, and then you can change some settings over here. You can see that. By clicking on edit exchange settings, this is going to take you to exchange information. You can see right here it's the same information, but that was a little bit more prettier than this one. You can see the SMTP is right here. When you put the email address, it's automatically put in here, and you can use the same hide this feature from there and from here as well. And then you have the other information that's given right here. That's just that it's a little bit easier feature for you to come in, and it gives you a little bit more ability in exchange. When you come and click on mail tip, you can see you have a little bit more features. You can create a warning message that's displayed when a user select this external as recipient in the new email message. You can see there's a little, you can put some kind of warning about this, or maybe this may require by your company that anywhere you send an email to external Outlook contacts from your email, you need to make sure you need to put this, because this is our company policy. So they may ask you to, hey, do we have an ability to do this? Then you can see this information, test it out, and then say yes or no based on what you find out. Now, do know that you can always go to Microsoft documentation to look for these specific features and learn more about it, because remember, this is more of an help desk training, not an extreme level of Office 365 training. where you may need to go to some documentation to find more about these features. So I highly recommend that you Google search Office 365 contacts feature and learn more about it. Welcome back to our user module. In this video, we will talk about guest users. Now, from Office 365 perspective, you are going to be working on guest users if it is requested by your managers or someone in your company that would like to add an external vendor who is not a part of your domain. This means that if you're working on, let's say, a group in Office 365, you added a group, and now this group members requested that we need to add this so-and-so company because they're helping us, this is a vendor, then they may need to be added in the guest user. But the problem is that you see there's no option for you to add someone over here in this area of Office 365. Then, so how do we add people in Office 365 as a guest user? So for this, if you want to understand the whole detail of guest users, I will highly recommend you go and type type the information guest users with Azure Active Directory. Now, as you can see, as a user who is assigned any of the limited administrator directory roles, you can use Azure portal to invite B2B collaboration users. You can invite guest users to the directory, to the group, or to an application. These three things are very important: directory, group, and application. After you invite a user through any of these methods, the invited user account is added to Azure Active Directory, and then with a user type guest. The guest user then redeem their invitation to access resources. An invitation of user does not expire. What this is then, this may be something new right now, and we're not going to go into Azure Active Directory, but I will show it to you. Just like portal.office.com, the main infrastructure that we are on right now is Azure, right? This is a cloud platform. So everything you add in Office 365, all the groups, resources comes from Azure.com. So when you just type portal.azure.com, you also have access with the same trial that you're using for 30 days. You will see something like this. So when you click on these three dashes right here, then you see an Azure Active Directory is right here. Now do remember that this is very different than your local on-premises Active Directory training. We will talk about this later on. But for now, you can see if you click on users, all the users will show up right here. If you go back and click on the groups, then all the groups that you have added will show up right here. HR, sales, and everything. You can see all the IDs are. So it gives you a little bit more information, audit logs, and this is the core area. This is the backend where systems administrators are usually working, and that's where most of the server skills are transferring over here. We'll talk about this in our Azure Active Directory course. Now, going back to our main information where we need to add the guest user, actually we have to come to the Azure Active Directory. So I went in here and I click on Azure Active Directory, and then after that I clicked on users. In the users, you can see right now new guest users. Here you can invite a user by clicking on this option, and remember this says invite a new guest user to collaborate with your organization. This will be emailed invitation. So as soon as you add someone over here and personal message, and you can even add a group to or roles, whatever you want to do, or whoever gave you the assignment, they will probably tell you to put this person in this group or to give that person that role. In the beginning, if you're too new to this stuff, a lot of the time they will help you giving all that information to you. So once you add a person to that, then you will see that this person will be added and it will show up right here. Now what you can do from an Office 365 training perspective, you can actually add this user to the groups, and it will be requested by the team members that say, we need this vendor to be added to our group, can you add it? So then after that you probably will come and find the group, and then you can add Stacy to this specific group, so then these people can start working with the guest accounts. Now if you go back to the Azure Active Directory, I highly recommend you go over the documentation, but most likely a lot of people will add a guest user when they need help with the applications on Azure Active Directory. So if you click on Azure Active Directory, click on Enterprise Application, you can see there are some Azure Active Directory applications. Now what they do is there are many things that it does in this area. So for example, if you have a third-party application and you want everybody to do a single sign-on, let's say we are using GoToMeeting, Zoom, or any other application, you can add their application over here, and then connect two applications together, and then you can have the guest user added to these applications so then they can help you with the code or something like that in the future. You may be requested to do this in your job, but this is when you really get into Office 365 as a more of Office 365 specialist rather than a help desk person. But you can come across it, so that's good for you to know and come and play around with this stuff. So this is all you can do with the guest user. If you need to know more about it, make sure you do guest Azure Active Directory, and also look for manage guest access in Office 365 groups. This will be a good information for you for Office 365 related tasks. Thank you. In this module, Office 365 for Help Desk course, we are going to talk about this feature, deleting user. Now, deleting a user in the Office 365 is few clicks. So let's go ahead and delete a user right here, Ben, Andrew. So you go to active users. Let's say for whatever reason, we are told to remove Ben. So we're going to go ahead and remove Ben by clicking on these three dots and just click on delete user. And then you see right here, we get some more options. So Microsoft does help you, educating you in a way that, okay, when you're deleting this user, there are some information that you really need to know. And that is, you can restore deleted user and their data except for calendar items and aliases for up to 30 days after you delete them. Data on their connected devices will be removed, as well as following. Office 365 Business Premium will be unassigned and available to other people. Remember, it's a license-based product, so you need that license. You don't want to be paying for something that you're not using, so this is why they make it kind of easy that when you delete a user, you get a license available. Then you have certain things right here that Microsoft helps you that, okay, emails will be removed right here, no aliases, and it kind of tells you, okay, what data is already associated with this user. As you can see, no email aliases, no mailbox delegation permissions. This user does not have OneDrive provision. Give another user access to Ben Andrew email. Now remember, this is all created based on how you're going to be getting calls. And that's why the modern applications are better in a way that, it's going to cloud. One of the good thing about this is that they are putting things that we used to do manually in our normal on-premises type of Active Directory environment. So remember, when you are working in a normal business and you delete a person from Active Directory, there's a lot of other things that were connected before, and still now it's still happening. We have local exchange, we have people are using file sharing servers. That's still happening. A lot of companies are on hybrid mode right now, but they're kind of helping you right now that what if this person is using OneDrive, then there you go. These are the data that are associated with this user. And if it goes to even more, like for example, somebody will leave a company and then you will delete their account, and after 5 days the manager will call you back and say, hey, can I get their emails? I'm sure this is mostly done in a proper way these days, but some companies may have something like that. Maybe another department have worked with this user and for some reason now they want the emails back. So yes, every company have rules and policies, and they will at one time they're going to tell their employees that, okay, that person was deleted 3 months ago, and our policies that after 30 days we just totally delete the account and we do not have any recovery for that, but we have made a, let's say, archive of their files and stuff like that. So this is the stuff that you're going to be dealing with. So make sure when you delete a user, you should have at least a proper policy or procedure, because if you don't have anything like that, remember, you're going to be dealing with this, because this course is about what? Office 365 for Help Desk. So you're going to be getting calls that are going to be related to this type of scenarios, where you're going to be getting calls for emails and stuff like that. So when we delete this person, it goes to what? It goes to this deleted user option. So right now it's so easy. You can just come here and restore the user, or you can also export deleted user. Now another way you can delete a user is in the Azure. Now remember, everything is becoming cloud, and you're going to see this more and more and more from systems administrator, and even different type of IT positions are going to start using this. So this is why I tell a lot of people to start learning a little bit about Azure. If you've been following this course, you have a free access for 30 days to this stuff, so make sure you use that. Now if you come back over here, you see Ben is still here, but that's, if I refresh, this is going to go away and we will not see Ben anymore. You see that. So now in Azure, I can right click on Chris and delete, and there you go. I can delete Chris from Azure as well. And if I come back over here and I go back to active users, Chris is gone also. I don't see Chris anymore. So if you want to know more about deleting a user, I highly recommend to go to delete a user documentation from Microsoft. I really like the documentation in a way that they made, because everything is very detailed. So it tells you what you need to know about deleting a user, same stuff, 30 days, and then you say only people who have a global admin rights. So if you're like, let's say, some type of lower level permissions and you try to delete an account and it's not working, then that's why, because it's by design they have created that way. So this is why for a help desk or IT support technician, documentation and reading and documentation is important, because remember, this course is not about Office 365 specialist or administrator who is going to be dealing with Office 365 in a very deep way. We're just training you on that basic calls and content and stuff like that in this course. So I highly recommend that you come to this documentation and go over it, because something may be related to your job, and then maybe you may already have a fix in the documentation. So this is why I would highly recommend to come over here and read it out. I'll see you in a different video from Office 365 for help desk course. In this video, we will talk about groups. Groups are very important for organizations, businesses, but for you as a help desk technician, support technician, IT technician, you're going to be getting very normal, regular calls that we have just hired this person. Can you add him or her into sales department? Or can you remove this person from this group? Or can you send an email to the whole group? Or can you create a group for this specific department with this many members? So these are the type of calls you're going to get on a regular basis related to groups. If you want to learn more about groups, make sure to go back to the documentation, and then they have certain limitations on group as well in Office 365. As you can see, owners per group is 100, and this may change based on when they're going to change it, but this is a cloud-based system and all these numbers can change. Groups a user can create is 250. Groups an admin can create is 500,000, up to 500,000, and then number of members more than 1,000 through though only 1,000 can access the group conversation concurrently. I mean, that's a lot of numbers, but we don't know. Maybe there may be a very large environment or large business that can offer or create something like this. As you can see, groups have the ability of file storage as well, and this is the amount of per subscriber. They give you this much space, and group mail size box is 50 GB. So as you can see, when we move to the cloud, how these numbers are getting bigger and bigger. Because I remember one day I was working for a company, and then the mail size and exchange on on-premises servers were only 2 GB per email box, and that was also considered pretty much high. So you can now see that how much has been changed. Considering space, it is very very nice to have this type of ability these days. But of course, you can go and search more about groups if you want to get into that detail of Microsoft Office 365. But we're going to get back to our help desk technical level courses. So the first question you may get is, can we create a group? So let's go ahead, and how would you create a group? You can simply click on add group, and here you can see Microsoft 365 is recommended. There's distribution group. If you just want to create a group for email purpose, then you can actually use this one. If you want to do email enable security, has all the functionality of distribution list, additionally can be used to control access to OneDrive and SharePoint. So if you want to have a little bit control over that distribution group, then of course you can use this one. And the security is this one, control access to OneDrive and SharePoint, and can be used for mobile devices management for Office 365. Now most of the people are going to prefer this one. Why? Because they allow teams to collaborate by giving them a group email and shared workspace for conversation, files, calendars. So I'm sure a lot of people, when they want to create a group, they maybe want to using the first option, but there could be a situation where people will ask you, we don't need all these other features, can we just get the email so then we can send it to, let's say, 20 people? Then of course you may be able to use this one. So in your testing, in your hands-on practice, I would like you to create all of these groups just to get a hands-on feeling. But in this training, we're just going to create the first one. So let's go ahead and create an IT tech group for tech support only. So there you go. We just created this group. And now it's going to ask us what kind of email do you want to use for this group. So anytime if we send an email to this techsupport@dmvclient.onmicrosoft.com, then everybody in this group will get that message. So as you can see, anyone can see the group content. This means anyone in your organization can open a group and can see the content. But if you make it private, then only the members of this group can see the content. This may be a question for your manager or whoever, a director level or anyone who is requesting the group ticket. You should be asking these type of questions. Is it a public? Is it a private? Add Microsoft Teams to your group. You can actually add, this is another feature that we haven't discussed anything on this. In this training, we're gonna later on go to Team and all the other important features of other Microsoft stuff. So if I click this, then it's going to add another feature to this group. So we're gonna basically click next. Owners are important because who's the owner? Who's going to be managing this group? So you want to create that owner right here. So I'm going to basically look for admin, and I'm going to make myself an owner of this group. And then we're going to click next here, and this is it. All of this information is now, we have that group type, basics, settings, everything. And then basically when you click on create new group, group is created. Another group, user groups collaboration effectively. You can see all that stuff right there. But you see that it didn't pop up, so I'm going to refresh it, and you see it's still not there. So when you create a group, you have to wait a little bit in cloud-based system because sometimes it takes time, a minute or two, for groups to pop up. And then when it shows up, you're going to see some icons on this right here. So we have some groups already created. As you can see, this represent that this was created inside Office 365. Now, if it was created inside the on-premises, meaning if you have an Active Directory inside your business and it's connected to the Office 365, then you will see a different icon over here. So we're gonna go ahead and refresh this one more time and see if our group is still there. No, it's not there. We'll still have to wait for it. We're gonna go ahead and open another feature. Let's go back to groups, and it will show up in a second. So here we're gonna keep refreshing, and there you go. Oh, when I did it, there you go. So IT Tech is right there now. You see the assigned group, the status is the cloud, and it is public. It tells you all that information. If I click on it now, I can see that information right here. So now I can click on general, and I can edit the information. If I want to edit the basic information, the email address, I can change the member. And if I click on members, I can add more owners in here. I'm just gonna basically click on the members here. Now, one of the mistakes a lot of people make is that when they look for members, they'll start looking people like right here. But this is actually a search box. So if I could tell Microsoft to change something, I would definitely tell them to change this area, because a lot of people come and spend like a minute to find things. So I'm gonna click on add members right here, and then you see when you do that, then all the members basically populate. So I'm gonna go ahead and check all of this information. I wanna get all these people into that group. We're gonna uncheck this one because we are already an admin of this group. So as soon as you do that, all of these people are now added, and they're part of this group. As you can see, once you add them, they will show up right here. You can manage them from here, and this is where you may get a call again. Can you remove one member? Can you remove this person because they left, fired, or whatever reason is, or retired? Or they may ask you to add a new member. So this is how things are already created in your company when you start working. You just need to go and find out which groups are already in there. Just go to their membership, just go to some of the who are in these type of groups, just play around with it. Don't try to remove people from there already, but at least you can come and play around in this test environment. If you go to settings, you can change the settings that you have created in the beginning, like private or public. Now, another part of this is an important one, is this one: allow external sender to email this group. Sometimes we get calls that we're sending this email to this email address that were given to us by, let's say, some other vendor. They send us an email that we're trying to send an email to your group or to the people, or they gave us this email. They don't know if it's a group or not, but this is the option that it has to be checked if somebody from outside need to actually send you an email to the group. Now another option is to send copies of group conversation and events to group members. If you check this, and everybody will be getting notification, which most of the companies don't check this option, but you may get a request. So just know that these two settings are right here under the settings. So come over and play around with this stuff just to get an idea, because you will get something like the first option is a very common option where people work with vendors and then they will need to send the email to that group. Now moving on to the delete options in this group. As you can see, you can delete this group from these three dots by clicking here, or you can click on delete groups on the top. So if you click on delete groups, what will happen is that it's going to give you a message that if you delete this group and after 30 days this data will be permanently deleted. So if you click on delete, then that's it, it's going to get deleted. So you still have a chance. Let's say you mistakenly deleted this, you can come back to deleted group and you can see the deleted groups is existing right here. So can you delete the group? Yes, you can click on restore group. As you can see on the top, deleted Office 365 group will be shown here for 30 days before the group and its associated data are permanently deleted. If you need to, you can restore Office 365 group and its data within this period. All other group types are permanently deleted immediately. So you can see that's why people use this method of options for the groups when we were creating the group, and not the other ones, because of this danger. If somebody deletes the groups, then we have a problem. There's no way you can recover that data. Learn more about the groups if you're interested in this, but we're going to go ahead and restore this group to see it works. There you go. This group has been restored. Refresh, and then when you go to the groups, it may take a second. Like I said, this is a cloud-based system. It's going to take a minute or two, and there you go, it will just come up. So after a minute, it will just show up here and all the data will be back. So in our next video, we are going to go ahead and click on share mailbox. We're going to do this one because this is very important one. A lot of people use it for different type of purposes also, and we're going to go and see how to use share mailbox. Thank you. Let's go refresh. No, it's still not there. So just give it a few minutes. It's going to show up right here, and make sure to come over here, practice on your own, try to delete something, try to add more groups, refresh, add people. This is exactly what you're going to be doing. Thank you so much. In this video, module groups and video for share mailbox, we're going to talk about important feature which is called share mailbox. Now for IT help desk, because this course is about IT help desk positions and IT support positions, you may get an interview question. A lot of times people will just test your knowledge about Office 365 and they will ask you, do you know what is share mailbox and how do you open share mailbox? So they can really test you. If you don't know how to give that answer, how to open a share mailbox, then they will know that you really don't know much about Office 365, because this is an option that most of the companies are using. The reason for that is that so many companies have a support at whatever name emails, and people will use that type of email, so then multiple technicians can actually access that. Now that's just not for that. It could be a customer service email, it could be HR email, it could be career at whatever email. So people like to use this option in Office 365 for that purpose, but of course everybody have a different way of doing things. They may find a different solution that may work for you, like sending it a group or something like that. So that's why if you look at it, Microsoft kind of suggests you need an address like support blah blah blah. We will guide you to open that. So basically when you create a share mailbox, you from your inbox you can change the mail. So for example, if you're sending it directly from the support at whatever jobscashare.org and you got a ticket, you can actually change that. So you don't want to, let's say, personally send it from the personal email, then you will be changing this from your Outlook. The reason for that is that people, if you get an email in the support, then you would want to reply from the support. The reason for that is that people then want to go back to that email box and they say, okay, who got this call and who replied it to? And that's how a lot of help desk email systems work. But if you get it directly in your email box, then of course you're going to be replying it from your email directly, and that will be just kind of one direct one-on-one type of ticket. But other thing that you can also says an additional email address to an existing user. You can also use an alias right here. So you can have one person, this is the email, you can have two different addresses going to one box. So that's also an option right here. But in this video, we're going to only talk about creating a share mailbox and how to access the share mailbox. Now, do know that we have not yet covered the Outlook options in Office 365 for this course. We have to still cover that later on. But for now, let's go ahead and add a mailbox, and let's just call it support. So that is going to be our support shared mailbox. So when you add it, basically what happens after that, we're just going to have to wait for it. And while you're waiting, definitely go to the Microsoft documentation and click on share mailbox. Here you can see our share mailbox are used when multiple people need access to the same mailbox, such as company information or support email address, reception desk, and here you see other function that might be shared by multiple people. Share mailbox can receive external emails if the administrator has enabled it. Users with permissions to group mailbox can send as behalf. This is what I was talking about in that example. So there's a lot of information about share mailboxes. Remember, if you want to become an Office 365 specialist, then always look into documentation in more detail. But if you're just preparing yourself for help this type of call, then just continue watching this course. So as you can see, share mailbox was created, and then once you create it, you can get the details for that share mailbox. And as soon as you do that, you can see you have more information is about to start. So share mailbox can have its own auto reply. You can turn it on and off, like help desk is available from 8 to 9 p.m. whatever, 5 p.m. 4 p.m. You can set a forwarder right here. You can send items. Basically you can email apps. So basically there's a lot of options in share mailbox. The one that I'm interested in is to actually go back and kind of like show you how you're going to be kind of finding out what is the email for your organization. So as soon as you find out, okay, they're using Office 365, make sure to come over here and click on share mailbox, and then find out, okay, they are using for many departments like sales, customer service, support. These are the main support emails. So consider getting a ticket like, hey, can you add a new customer service representative into the customer share mailbox? So see, when they send a ticket like that, then this is where you're coming. Then if they say we need to add this new person into our help desk department, and make sure you also add them into our email. So if they don't say share mailbox, then you should know that they're talking about share mailbox if they're using Office 365. If they're not using Office 365, they're using some kind of hybrid local Active Directory, then of course you're going to be adding that person inside the Active Directory for this to work. It'll just populate into their Office 365 support email, but this is not going to be here then. So now if you can see, we have to actually come over here and click on support to add our people. So right now, if you look at this, we have certain options right here. We can change the name, email, and all that stuff right here. But if you click on customize permissions, you see it takes you to all this permission: read and change permissions, send as permission. So you can have this from here. You can change edit, and here you can see add permissions. Search by email address, edit, read, and manage permission by email. You can add permissions and whoever you want to then pick. For example, we're going to pick DMBIT. This is the admin account, so we're going to go ahead and do this option, and options are updated. So it says right here that read and manage permissions are added to this DMBIT solutions. So you can also add send as permissions. You can also send on behalf permission. This is up to your company, whoever have different type of requests. You just know that these options are available in that option. So there's not much after this. You can also delete a share mailbox. If you click on delete share mailbox, you can see when you delete the share mailbox, you can restore it up to 30 days. And most of the share mailboxes and groups and users in Microsoft Office 365 are available for 30 days. But the only thing you need to remember over here is it doesn't have its own deleted option right here. You see, when you delete groups, it has to be in deleted groups. But if it says right here, this option is important right here. If you see, it's up to 30 days. You delete it by going to users and groups - deleted users. So if I delete this mailbox, it should go to the deleted users, and then I can recover it from there. You see, I don't have an option from here to recover my share mailbox, but if I go to deleted users, I might be able to find it by right here. You see this? So if I go here, this basically tells you this is an unlicensed. Now remember, share mailbox don't need a license. So I can do a restore and make a restore right now. And there you go. I don't need that. It got restored. So if I go back. Now do know that if when you do restore, make sure if it's not showing up over here, make sure to go back to the users and check the user if it's locked or blocked. So make sure you basically go to the active users, and when you do a restore on it, make sure, let's say for example, let's click on this one, and if it says sign in blocked, you need to unblock it or unlock it. So if I go back to now shared mailboxes, and this is our shared mailbox. Now the question you will get, how do I get to share mailbox? There's no other option over here. How will you get a message from a user? Usually they will start working, and when they open a computer, the first thing you will tell them to, okay, you need to log in to the Office 365 by going to portal.office.com, and this is where they will see their page. Now you can see this is the portal page, and here they need to click on Outlook. This is something we will cover later on in detail, but this is where they will click on it, and then they will see the option for the share mailbox. But as if you look at it, this is their own email. How can they still open up share mailbox? Simply they will click on this profile icon, and here they see that open another mailbox. So when we click on it, this is where it will populate some of the listing, but we have to search for the share mailbox, which is support. This one, remember, these are contacts, so you have to make sure that you're picking up the right one, and then you basically click on open. And now you see that we just opened a share mailbox. As you can see, we have a email out there that is in the draft mode, and this is if you look at it, it seems like it's your email, but it's actually the share mailbox, and you are opening it as a manager, account manager for DMV. So now if you look at it, this is your mailbox. So I can actually send an email for testing to support, and now when I send this email, I should be getting this in our share mailbox right here. So let's see if everything is working correctly. We can go back to send items. It went through, but we're still waiting for it to come over here. Let's go ahead and refresh it. There you go. Sometimes you don't need a refresh, but if it's not coming up, just refresh it, because this is a browser-based applications. So as you can see, it came back up again. But can we reply to this email? Let's go ahead and try that. So if I did a test email, there you go. We just got that email back from the share mailbox. But where is it coming from? As you can see, it says test and to DMV, but who's sending it? Support right here. So that is why people use share mailbox, because they want to use an email like a customer support email, no reply email, or whatever email they want to use. But there are people that can manage, multiple people can manage it. I can give, let's say, 5 other technicians the same access, and they can have the same link open. So what a lot of people will do is that they will probably copy the link of the share mailbox. So let's say, for example, I come back over here and I go ahead and type this again. What they will do is they will copy this email, this link right here. As you can see, right, it says mail support. This is the share mailbox address, and then they will make a favorite, or maybe give it to the clients or on their desktops or something like that. So then it's easy for them to come and open this, because they already have access. If they leave the company and you remove their access, they will not be getting access to this link. But the good thing is that you don't have to do this all over again. So that's what makes it easy. Now this is where a lot of people use share mailbox, but again, like I said, you can always go back to the more details of this to learn more about it in the documentation from Microsoft. Learn more about it just to play around with it, see if you can have more options to play with because you have access for 30 days. Then this is where you can create your own tickets too. You can probably think of something else on your own to see, what if somebody asks me about the usage, where can I quickly find that? Then here you go, you have that GB. So try to create your own tickets like that, because it's a never-ending training. You have to make your own tickets to make sure you understand this properly. And that's how, in a real world environment, that's how we proactively work, because we kind of think about situation and then we think, okay, if that happens, then what do I do? That's how you should be doing this training. Thank you.